They say that you don't know what you have until it's gone. So, we need to ask ourselves, do we take our freedom for granted? Today I'm talking about how the leader of the Russian opposition party was arrested because he spoke out against Russian President Vladimir Putin. Alexei Navalny was arrested after a brief appearance at a rally in Moscow calling for the boycott of a March presidential election that he claims will be rigged. Shortly after his arrest, he was released without charge and is set to be sentenced in court at a later date. If charged with violating laws on holding demonstrations, Mr. Navalny could face up to 30 days in jail. 30 days for protesting against the government. Navalny is an anti-corruption activist and he had met with hundreds of his supporters on a nationwide day of protest, calling on voters to boycott what they claim would be a rigged presidential election in March. Supporters posted videos on social media showed Mr. Navalny walking towards the Kremlin, and when he was only a few hundred meters from the building, he had only taken a few steps before being surrounded by helmet-clad police officers. After his arrest, his Twitter account posted a tweet telling people to still go and protest, saying that you're not coming out for me, but for your future. If this didn't reek already of the Russian government gagging protesters, wait for this. Earlier that day, the police raided Mr. Navalny's Moscow headquarters and forced their way into his office using power tools and claimed reports of a bomb threat. What a coincidence. The cherry on top is that Mr. Navalny has been barred from running in the March elections. Of course. Which polls show incumbent President Vladimir Putin is on track to easily win. And Mr. Navalny knows that he's not going to win. He's openly said he's not going to win and that he's only doing this to show that there is no opposition, that there is no real election here, that this is all for show. And as we're seeing this story unravel, it's scary to think that this could happen anywhere in the world, that depending on where you were born, this could be your reality, that you wouldn't have a choice when it came to voting and that you would only be voting to create a show for the rest of the world, that you couldn't protest, that you couldn't raise your voice and speak up. Stories like this should inspire us to realise that freedom should never be taken for granted. I've given my opinion, now you can give yours. Sound off in the comments section below and make sure to subscribe to Ripple Zoo's YouTube channel. Just search Ripple Zoo on YouTube.